Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Day Trading with Nuke. I am Nuke, your host, and for those of you who don't know me, I am one of the moderators over at Boiler Room Trading. With that, let's get started with our daily watch list. Okay, today we're going to start on the bottom and work our way up. NBEV, it's been a heavy hitter the past few days. I'll show you how this thing has just gone long. And you can see that on the daily chart. It had a big parabolic move, and it had a pretty sharp move down. And then now it's just kind of wedging into this pattern here. It may break out, but I doubt it's going to be today. It's kind of fizzling out a little bit. We had really big candle followed by a good sized candle, but smaller bodies. And then we've got a little less pre-market action. So I expect to see that we're kind of topping out of this thing, unless it happens to be the one that all the market sentiment gets behind, breaks out of about the $10 level, then we could see this thing skyrocket. But anyway, as for today's concern, pre-market Fibonacci action puts us at a pre-market high of around $9.24 and a pre-market low of about $8.13. If it can break out of the pre-market resistance, I could expect it to go up to $10.36. But if it manages to ping pong and not break that resistance of 924, expect it to retest the low of 813. And if today's the day that the price corrects itself, that could possibly drop down to the $7 range. I expect to see a lot of ping ponging and possibly channel trade in between the 924 and the 813. That's just my 2 cents. All right, next up, we're going to look at AMD. We're not going to have a whole lot. I think I got 3 of them as a grand total in today's watch list. So AMD has been steadily dropping over the past couple of weeks. You see how that looks on the daily chart. Bam, we had a really steep drop off. Caught some grounding here as we approach the 200 EMA on the daily. What does that actually look like when we get in close? You can see how this thing is just really hockey sticking off. So pre-market action puts it around $28 on the high side, $27.68 on the low side. You can see where my 4-hour projections have brought this thing over, and we're basically wedging out now. But I could see AMD getting some traction today. If it breaks above the pre-market high of 28 and holds that, expect to see it test up 28.32. If it breaks the pre-market support at 27.68, expect to see it come down to 27.36. All in all, though, for the amount of change this thing has had lately, what we're basically seeing is it petering out. So it is Friday. Volume on Fridays is a lot lower. So I don't expect amazing things. Stand by 1 second. Alrighty, guys. Sorry about that. So basically, I don't see a ton of action out of AMD, but we're also limited on the volume and what's happened so far today. So it's anybody's game. It's a typical Friday. Things are dying out. Next up on the list, AMRN from yesterday. It started getting some volume late in the morning here. What does that project out to? Well, you can see we drew our 4-hour lines across. What did that look like? I keep calling this a daily. This is a 4-hour chart. I usually project it over to the daily, but this has been easier to see. So you can really get a good sense that this thing is creating that even-sided triangle. It had a couple of days where it paraboliced up, and it took a dip, paraboliced up. I don't expect to see the dip just yet. It also just hasn't picked a direction just yet. What does that look like? If it breaks out of the pre-market resistance, expect to see it test $20.49. If it can manage to break that, see it test on up to $21.94. If it doesn't break this pre-market resistance, expect to test the pre-market support at $19.04. If that's not able to hold, it could plummet down to $17.57. That being said, don't surprise me if it does channel trading up in here all day long. We will see. And here's a good look at what that's going to look like on the 4-hour if it does get some traction, either between here and here or between here and here. All righty. Let's just, I know I haven't shown you these. Let's just look at Tesla. You see how much pre-market action you have. This stuff could get wild. What does Tesla look like on the 4-hour chart over the past couple of days? You can see how that would be a full candle would match a little bit here. But if it continues to the downside, that could fill in this area. Or if it catches ground, forms that hockey stick from having a couple of days shorting, then that candle could look like this. All right. Next up is going to be, let's see, TLRY. Did I mark this one out? I did. Lots of pre-market action. You can see how TLRY went parabolic, then it had a really bad washout, then it had that washout long cover pop, which also kind of looked parabolic. Bam, and then it recovered, and then it's hockey sticking again. So we are getting close to catching the 175 again if we can pick up another 20 bucks. But I just don't see that happening now. And, you know, if you looked at this wedging down here, you know, we're likely to see this thing channel trade up around 157 to down around maybe 147. But just wanted you to see what it looks like breaking out based on the Fibonacci projections. Next up, Apple. So Apple has had a lot of back and forth trading. It's back on the upper side of the Bollinger Band, riding that out. Had its daily correction. Could be anybody's game. Is today the day it's going to correct down to the 50, or is today the day it's going to bounce back to this side of the Bollinger Band? Don't know, but the pre-market action puts it at 228.33 on the high side, 227 on the low side. And if it's able to break this resistance, expect it could go up to 229. If it breaks support, it could go down to 225. Next up is going to be Facebook. Yeah, guys, that's right. Oh, I didn't even mark this out, did I? Bad nuke, bad. Thought I'd done all the work before you guys got here. And what we are looking at there, 159.83 for the pre-market resistance, 158.05 on the pre-market support. If it breaks the support, expect it could drop to 156. If it breaks the resistance, it could go up to 161. You can see we had that uptrend, and we've had a steep downtrend. It's odd that you see this. That's one that you rarely see, is when the 200 EMA, you're not even close to tapping it, and then bam, all of a sudden it's about equidistant, but on the top side, showing a downward trend. So if we were to hold that downward trend, you see how we had rode down the Bollinger Band on the downside. We corrected, ride the downside. Then we had a slide up, and then we corrected, and now we're back on the downside. So I would be a little more inclined to say that we are getting ready for a pullback to get us closer to this 200. Not that I would expect it to go long, but just that we're trying to retrace closer to the 50 or the 200. So that being said, if we can manage to hold the current pattern, keep and hold support at the 158, expect to see it retest the 159. If it can break that resistance, maybe it'll test the 161. If it can't break or hold the support, expect to see it break down to the 162.22. What does that look like? Yeah, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. Fridays are just as bad as Mondays. NVDA, NVIDIA. Let's check that out. The barometer for the big boys in the tech department. Ooh, this is just plain ugly. I did not draw these all out for you guys. I'm sorry. I kind of get away from doing the big tech every day just because it's got such a range of movement, guys. We'll just leave it right there. Yeah. So you see we went from one side of the Bollinger Band to the other. So this could be the day where NVIDIA catches a little ground and starts coming back to the upside. So what's that look like? If we manage to maintain the support at 277, expect to see it retest 288.33. If it can break the pre-market high of 280.33, it could bounce all the way up to 283.70. If it cannot hold that support, expect it could test down as low as 273.78. And this is what it would look like on the 4-hour chart. Sorry, guys, I got the sneezes. The temperature and humidity changes a lot here, so it gets me all sniffly in the mornings. Netflix, this will be the last one we're doing. What does that look like for today? Lots of pre-market action. And here we go. Oh, it's set in a new pre-market low. This thing might be an all-day fader. Fader. All right, if it manages to hold that current trend, expect to see it retest a pre-market support of 357.96. If it can hold that, watch to see it retest the pre-market high, which is 363.97. If it were to break that pre-market resistance, you could see it retest 369.98. If it can't hold the pre-market support, expect you could see this thing fade on down to 352.01. What does that look like on the daily? Well, we are sitting just below the 200 EMA support. So we could see this thing crash out, or we could see it come on back up to the pre-market support. So, this is a tough call, y'all. I don't know. Don't know. We'll have to see as the day develops, as it's going to depend a lot on where market sentiment goes. We could be looking to fill in here and just form a bottom, get back on top of this 200 EMA. Let's look at this on the daily chart. Yeah, so you see how on the daily, it's been a while. Couple of, was that 8/20, so July 20th, it came close to testing the 200 here. We're breaking just underneath the 50 here. I would like to see the 50 hold and then us get back on the top side of the Bollinger Band here. But in the event that it doesn't, we could potentially see another 200 EMA tap. So just depends on if it's going to gain ground. We've been riding on the upside of the Bollinger Band. That, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to catch some ground. So I don't see it dropping much below where it's at now. But market sentiment can change, guys. That's the beauty of all this. Keep in touch. We'll get back on top of this in this afternoon, where we go through the market recap, and we'll see how all these things kind of worked out. Till then, I'm going to get back to trading and get ready to start my day. I'm going to publish this for you guys. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe. And if you haven't done it yet, come on over and check us out at Boiler Room Trading. Me and the rest of the moderators, and I hope to see you there.